Hello, I'm Maureen Thorpe and I love writing historical fiction, especially with a touch of magic. In my first novel, Tangle of Time, my heroine Annie slips through time to medieval Yorkshire, to a village, a manor. During my previous video, I talked about the peasants. In this one, I'm offering you a glimpse of the landowners, the barons, the knights, the church, and not to forget, of course, the king. When William the Conqueror arrived in 1066, surrounded by his barons and knights, and took the crown of England, he rewarded his French Norman nobility with land. The king still owned the land, the manor houses and the castles, after kicking out or killing the previous Anglo-Saxon owners. What you see here on the screen is the Bayeux tapestry, probably the longest embroidered piece of work ever made, and it tells in propaganda terms the history of the conquest of England. His friends moved in and kept the income earned from the land worked by the peasants as long as they were ready to fight for the king and raise an army. Land offered a good income between the surplus food grown by the peasants and payment of fines by the peasants. Other money came from wool from sheep, wood from the forests, and mining for iron, tin, silver and lead. Peasants' payment for the use of watermills and bread ovens also added to the pile. The church too was a major landowner, as the nobility would leave a manor here and there to the church, so prayers could be said for the nobleman's soul after death. The church in medieval times was so powerful that it could control whether a nobleman went to hell or to heaven, and so the prayers were really important. The king also taxed everything. Remember the Doomsday Book? So what were the rights of the lord of the manor? Essentially, he owned everything. That included the eels in the river, it included the bees in the beehives, and it included the sheep, the cows, the people, the buildings. What did his life and that of his lady consist of? Essentially, life in a manor house or a castle was made up of war games. They were getting ready to go to war if the king asked them. There was feasting in between that, of course, but mainly it was getting ready for war. The prime job of the woman of the house was to have heirs. Her job was to provide the babies. She also trained other young women who came in from other houses, other manors, other castles, and trained them to do exactly what she was doing, which was to run a manor house or a castle if the lord of the manor was away. Nightly feasts and entertainment became the norm. Expensive spices such as saffron, pepper and ginger came from the east and were used in cooking. A side note, King Richard III was killed in battle in 1485. His skeleton was found in 2012 under a parking lot. Skeletal analysis showed Richard ate swan, crane, heron and egret, in addition to freshwater fish. The high-status meals were also washed down with copious amounts of wine. The children of the nobility didn't have to work in the fields as soon as they could walk, but they were pawns. Marriage contracts were made early in their lives to gain more land or strengthen alliances. Until the plague arrived, killing most of the peasants in Europe, the landowners had it all their own way. But the peasants who were left now had some bargaining rights, and the church was losing its powerful grip. The worldwide spread of the printing press meant a greater distribution of ideas that threatened the ironclad power structures of Europe. The feudal system was finished. Nobility remained, but the middle class was growing, and people had a stronger voice. Hence the signing of the Magna Carta by King John in 1215, which eventually led to English common law. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in following me, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and my website is maureenthorpe.com. Some exciting news. My second book, Sailing to Byzantium, is currently being published. In my next video, I'll be talking about the historical background, which includes Vikings. Bye for now.